Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Project SOAR Fit. My name is Aron. I am the Project SOAR coordinator for Access of Wilmington. And this is our Project SOAR Fit class, which we hold via Zoom at this time. And then I also record this and share it on YouTube. I don't have anyone who is logged on with me live so far, which means you're probably watching me on YouTube. I've created these classes to support all of us that are part of Project SOAR, to have a way to practice functional fitness so that we can be fully healthy in all the areas of our life, including recreation, which is what we do with Project SOAR. So all these cool, fun things that we get to do, like scuba and fishing and climbing and surfing and I don't know, kayaking, I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch, archery, all those things require us to be able to use our bodies as fully as we're able to. And we make all of those adaptive so that if you have injuries or illnesses or anything that is affecting your functionality, that we're able to do them anyway. But the more that we're able to increase our functionality and keep it as high as we're able to, then the better we're able to enjoy all those fun things. So that's why we offer this. Hopefully it's also a little bit fun. I try to change it up every week. Last week we had a little break and I appreciate that. I needed some time off. But we are back at it live this week. And then of course, these are always going to stay available for you on YouTube. So you can do them in any order at any time that you like. We've been doing these as a HIIT style workout, HIIT being high intensity interval training. We're going to continue that today. I'm changing it up a little. We had been doing like 3 sets of 8 exercises. Today, just for some fun and just to change things, I'm going to do 2 sets of 13 different exercises, and that's going to include some portions that are cardio. And I'm kind of leaving the cardio open. I'll show you some examples of different cardio you can do when we're doing our warm-up together. But when we do the workout, I'm kind of leaving it open. You can do whatever cardio you'd like. Let's see what else. The functional fitness classes, try to do all 4 types of functional fitness. So that is endurance, strength, balance, and flexibility. So I borrow from a lot of different things. We do some exercises that you might see in, if you're lifting at the gym, although you don't necessarily need weights, you can do your own body weight. I borrow things from yoga. I borrow things from Pilates. Today's might be a little bit Pilates heavy. So if you've not done Pilates, this is your chance to kind of see what that's all about. And these again are adaptable and accessible. So even if you have injuries, I'm going to start at the very beginning before we even work together, just showing you what the exercises are going to be today and showing you some different options that you can try. Since I don't have anyone live with me, I can't in particular like modify these for anyone as individual. So I'm just going to try to show some different options that I think might be helpful for different people. But if you see these and you just can't figure out what might work best for you, it's just not clicking, give me a call. My number and my email are in the description. Let me know and we'll try to figure out like what works best for you. All right. On that note, I'm going to get started just showing you the exercises we're going to do today. We'll get to the cardio later. I'm going to do just the other exercises and show you some different options. So the first option is an upper body exercise. So you can do this standing, or if you practice seated, you can be seated. And you can either do this without any additional intensity, or if you have anything like I'm going to use this one. If you have anything like a stretch band, these would be really great to kind of amp up that intensity, but you can do it without. I'm going to show you with, and basically you're holding, if you have a band, you're going to hold it about shoulder distance apart, maybe a little wider, palms up, and you'll hold on to the band. And then what you're going to do is just a little tug, and then you flip your hands and do a tug again. And if you don't have a band, it looks exactly the same. Tug, flip, tug. flip tug. And again, this can be standing or seated. I have my arms at about shoulder height. If you need to change the height a little bit because of a range of motion issue, feel free to. But if you're able to keep these up at shoulder height, that is going to help us work that area of the shoulder and build strength and endurance there. The next exercise is also upper body, can be done standing or seated, and that is a thoracic extension. If you're not using a band, it's going to look like this. Again, hands a little wider than shoulders, and then up, inhale, and then exhale, coming back behind you, and then inhale up and exhale. And I'm definitely feeling some popping there. So definitely helping get some things moving in my shoulder that aren't ready to move sometimes. And again, if you wanted to add a strap or a stretchy band, it would look the same. And you're just adding that little bit of intensity there with some extra resistance. So this is a great option. And in fact, if you don't have some of these and you want some, we do have some available at Access of Wilmington. So let me know if you want some. The third exercise we're going to do today, oops, I kicked my little thing out of the way, is a tabletop knee lift. So I'm going to show you the tabletop version, and then I'll show you some different options. So coming into a tabletop, you'll tuck your toes and you'll lift your knees just a few inches. You need to use core strength to keep them lifted. I'm going to do this as a hold. If this seems too intense for you, you could do it as a movement. Bring your knees down and then up. You could do this one knee and then the other and alternate. And if practicing on your hands and knees doesn't feel like it works for you, you could also do a seated version of this where you come up onto the balls of your feet or lift your legs. And again, you can hold, or you could tap down and come up if you need a little break, or you can alternate. So those are some options for that exercise. We'll then do cardio again. And then the next exercise is going to be laying on our side if you're doing a version off the chair. So I am going to lay out on my side, put my hand in my head. The bottom leg is bent about right in front of your hip. The other leg is extended, and we'll bend the knee and kick out, bend the knee and kick up. And then we repeat that, out, and then up, out, and then up. And then after we do that exercise, we're going to stay on that side and do a leg tap to the front. So it's going to look like this, tap, and then bring it back to the front, tap, and then back. And then we'll do those same two exercises on the other side. Once again, if getting down on the floor doesn't seem to work for you, that's fine. You can still work out with us. We can do, and I'll show you on the other side just so I get both sides even while I'm demonstrating. You can do a kick in front and do a kick out. Kick front, so you see it's the same. We're just seated, and if you want to move more to the edge of your seat, you can. That's going to require more balance. I'm going to use my hand here as like a counterweight, but it also gives me a little bit more freedom of movement through that hip. So that's the kicking version, or that's the kicking exercise. And then the next exercise is that tap. So for that, I'll do my leg out and then tap and then back, out, tap, back. And if having your leg lifted seems like a little much, you can do this more like a slide, like slide your foot forward and then trace out and then trace back and slide your foot back. So you can change this up, change the intensity, change the range of motion. And again, if none of these seem to work for you, just let me know and we'll figure out what works best for you. So those are those options. Let's see where we at. So we'll do those. We'll have another little bout of cardio. And then we're going to do something called a T-pull. You can do that lying down on your belly and sort of that locust position. This is kind of from yoga. And then you'll have your arms out in a T and then draw them back. T, Squeeze the shoulder blades together, and you're also lifting the chest and coming back. So we're getting a lot of engagement here in the muscles along the spine and in the shoulders. And seated, it looks very similar. Your arms are out here. You arch the back, lift the chest, bend the elbows, just like that. So the movement is the same. You're just oriented in a different way. Exercise number 12 is a downward facing dog with running hills. So this is also a little bit from yoga. So we're in this inverted V, and then we pedal the feet. One heel comes down, the other knee bends, and then we switch. And we're going to do that back and forth. If that seems a little intense, you can do this from a tabletop position. Stretch one foot back and then the other. So you're squeezing the front of that thigh to extend the leg. And again, if you're seated, that's going to be more like a kick and then kick. And we're really flexing that foot when you kick out or when you slide. If you're keeping it down on the ground, sliding forward, one and the other, and alternating. So we're kind of running those heels. And then the final exercise we're going to do is a leg lift. I'm going to show you seated since I'm already here. I'm going to move out to the edge of my seat and curl right here, engaging the core, and lift the legs and lower them. The straighter your legs are, the more this is going to take strength. So if you bend your knees a little, you might find that kind of reverse crunch a little bit more accessible. And then the other option is you can do this lying on the ground, really bringing that low back to the floor by engaging your core. We have the legs up and then lower them down and then pull them back up by engaging the core and then back down. Trying to go to about 45. If you can't get all the way there right now, that's fine. Go as far as you're able to go and still keep that connection. That's what's going to protect our back and build strength in our abdominal muscles. That's all of the different exercises we're going to do today during our workout. I know that was really fast. I'll be modeling again while we're doing this together, but I may be modeling an option that's different than the option you're doing. I'll try to change it up a little bit, but you do the option that works best for you. It's a beautiful day out. I hope you've had a chance to get outside and get some movement, and that maybe you're warmed up a little bit already. But if you're not, it's fine. We'll do like a little 2-minute warm up. And while we're doing that warm up, I'll show you some different cardio exercises that you might use when we're doing the cardio portion of today's workout. But you can do any cardio that works for you. So I'm going to show you like jogging and jumping jacks and some upper body like punching that you can do. But if you want to go and do like burpees or jump rope or something else during the cardio portion, feel free to do whatever works best for you. So get whatever you need, water, a little bit of space, and we'll get started. You're in control, especially if you're doing this with me on YouTube. So you can hit that pause button whenever you need to, and take a break. The exercises, when we do them, like I said, we're going to do 13 exercises. That's including the cardio. And then we'll have a little minute break, and then we'll do everything again a second time. So you could also change it up and do it more reps if you want, or you can do fewer. Each exercise, including cardio, is going to be a minute long. 50 seconds of that, I'm going to be doing movement, the other 10 transitioning to the next exercise. But if you want to change that ratio, that's another way you can control this. So during that 60 seconds, you could do 30 seconds of movements and 30 seconds of rest, or 40 and 20, or however you want to divide that up. So again, listening to what your body needs today. It might be different than it was yesterday, it might be different than tomorrow, but what you need today, you're in control. And let's get started. I'm going to start my sports watch so I can check these first 2 minutes of our warm up. And I'm going to start with jogging. Let's go. Oh, apparently I did not stop my workout from earlier. Let me stop that. And then we'll go. There we go. Let's start that again. That's what I'm looking for. So out of these 2 minutes of warming up, I'm going to start with just a simple jog. Today I'm feeling pretty good, so I think it's okay for me to do a little bit of this bouncing motion. But if you feel like that's just more than your knees and hips and stuff can take, you can do more of a march, or you can do a side step. Again, no magic formula to which cardio is going to work best, just what works best for you. And that was our first 30 seconds. Let's switch it up. I'm going to move to jumping jacks. Again, this is a pretty traditional jumping jack, but there's lots of different variations. So if this range of motion is not great for your shoulder today, you could do one where you're at shoulder height, a seal jack. And then you could also take it out of that high impact and do a low impact. And not to forget, anyone that's doing this from the chair, you can do a jack version from a chair, just like this. All right, we are 30 seconds of that. I'm going to stay seated and do a punch, just jabbing. This is also a little rotation in the trunk. You can do this seated. You could also do this cardio standing. So whatever works best for you. The faster you go, the higher that heart rate's going to get. And we got 30 more seconds. I'm going to do just a trunk rotation. So really getting into that core strength at the same time. And again, I could do this seated if I were working out seated today. You can get a great workout sitting in a chair. So even if you are rehabbing an injury, or if you have a permanent mobility injury, you can still get a great workout. There's lots of things we can do. All right, that's 2 minutes. Let's move on and actually do a little bit of dynamic stretching before we get deep into that workout. So we're still sort of getting our body ready for what we're about to do. Let's do some squats. So if you're standing, we'll do some wide leg squats, keeping the shoulders over the hips. Or actually, let's start. We'll just do 5. And we're going to keep the legs and feet close together, but try to keep the chest lifted as we lower down and press through the heels to come up. If you're seated, you could do heel lifts here instead. And after about 5 of those, let's take our stance a little wider and do 5 more with this wider stance. I've got my feet, well, maybe a little bit more than hips distance, but not wider than my shoulders right now. And same thing, want to keep my body upright, keep my shoulders over my hips. It's a good chance to kind of check in with that whole chain of our joints here and see how it feels as I'm moving. That's going to help me make decisions about what's best for my body today during the workout. And then let's take it one more angle, kind of a wide angle. Now my heels are wider than my shoulders, and we're going to do that again about 5 more times. All right. Let's do a little bit of movement in our spine. You can do like a cat-cow seated. I'm going to show on hands and knees. So this is more typically what you would see in like a yoga class. We've got wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and we're arching the back, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the tailbone, looking back at the thighs. So moving through a few of these. And again, you could do this seated with your hands on the tops of your legs and do that same motion with the spine, just getting everything moving and ready to go. Maybe one more time. And then let's do a little more rotation in the spine, more of a side bend and a twist. So we're going to combine that. I'm going to come onto my chair. You could do this standing or you could do it seated on the ground. But what we're going to do is we're going to reach the right arm over the head into a side bend. And then we can bring the hand behind the head and we're going to stay in that side bend and rotate the chest down. So this is moving through the spine and then back to the front and then moving the chest up towards the sky. So we're rotating. And do that a few times. Maybe Try inhaling as you rotate up and exhaling as you rotate down. See how that feels. A couple more on this side. We'll move to the other side. We come into that side bend just a little deeper now that we sort of warmed that up, and then we'll switch. We'll side bend to the other side, take a breath or two. And then when you're ready, we can bring the hand behind the head and do the same thing. Inhale as we twist up. Exhale as we turn the upper body towards the ground. Nice little rotation here. This is a nice one to do if you have to be seated a lot for work. Your back starts to get stiff. It's kind of just gets everything moving again. Let's come back to center, maybe give that side bend a little deeper, and then come back to the middle. All right, I thought I saw someone maybe pop on. Nope, just something else. All right, I am going to have us do some opening stretches through our hip. I'm going to do them standing today. If you've been following along on other videos, I've also shown ways to do this on the ground and ways to do this seated. Today I'm going to show you standing. And what we'll start with is a knee lift in front and then out to the side and then back down. So we're making a circle right through that hip joint. Do that a few times. And then we'll change direction. And then after about 5 times, let's kick that leg out in front. And then kick it back. And we're going to swing through front and back a few times. And then let's leave it up front and go side to side a few times. So we're getting to move that hip in about all the directions that it goes. It's a pretty open joint. The only one with more range of motion is our shoulder. So it's good to do some dynamic stretching to kind of move in all the ways that's meant to move. All right, let's switch to the other side. So we'll pick up the knee, open it, and come around and down. Even if you're not seated in a chair while you work out, you see that they come in really handy if you want a little balance. So it's always good to have a sturdy chair nearby while you're working out. I just switched directions if you didn't notice, so feel free to follow me in that other direction with those hip circles. And then when you're ready, we'll kick the leg front and back and swing through that hip a few times. Front and back. And then we'll leave it out in front and go side to side. That feels like it's a little more open. So let's move on. I mentioned that the only joint that has more range of motion than our hips is our shoulders. So let's go ahead and warm those up too. Simply by doing circles. You can do those circles with your arms at ease by your sides, or you could bring them to your shoulders and make circles with your elbows, or you can extend your arms out and make circles with your fingertips. I like to do a mix of all of them, so feel free to mix this up in any way that works for you. And then we're going to switch the direction of those circles again. Any of those variations, anything that gets those joints lubricated and just maybe a little less stuck than they are when we're sitting still, especially if you do work at a computer or find yourself checking out your phone, just getting all that moving. Speaking of, if we're looking down at that phone, a lot of times we get some pain in our neck. So let's get some movement there. Let's let our ear fall towards our shoulder. And then just like we did when we were in that side bend, but now we're working more in the cervical spine, we're gonna let ourselves rotate our chin down towards the ground and then up towards the sky. And again, you choose the range of motion, you choose the speed, And you can even choose to pause, especially if there's one little angle where you feel like there's a nice opening happening. Maybe there's a little stuck spot and you're like, oh, it's coming unstuck. Just hang out there, take a couple breaths. And then when you're ready, we can let our chin come back to our chest and go to the other side. Same thing. You're welcome to stay still. If you're already feeling a lot of opening and intensity, you don't have to add that movement. But if it feels like something that will just kind of get some movement and open up some space for you, feel free to add that little bit of a rotation here. And I think that's about it for me. Let's bring chin to chest, look back up, do a quick little check-in. How do you feel? You ready to get going? I know I am. We're going to start this workout very beginning with cardio. And like I said, you can do any of those cardio things we did at the beginning, or if there's something else you want to do, just anything that gets your heart rate going in between some of these other exercises. So we're going to start in about 10 seconds. I'm going to jog just because that seems the simplest thing for me to do. And then we'll get started with those other exercises. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we have 50 seconds of cardio. I'm going to jog it out. And then we'll have 10 seconds to get ready to do those flipping pulses with our hands that I showed you at the beginning. I don't play any music because 1, I don't have the copyright to play anything. And 2, I think it would make it hard for you to hear me on the audio. But I love working out to music. So if you also do, I highly encourage you to find a playlist that motivates you and play it in the background while we're doing this. I know I always work out a little harder if I've got some great music to listen to. All right, we're almost done with this first segment, and then we're going to move on to those upper body exercises I showed you earlier. All right, we got 10 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and use this today. So I'm going to do those flipping pulses, but if you don't have one, again, don't worry about it. You can do this without. Let's go. So tug, flip, flip back over, tug. That's the whole workout. See if you can squeeze those shoulder blades together when you're doing that little tug. Whew. I can already feel this. I don't know if I'll use the bands next round. We'll see. We're halfway through these. Seconds. 10 more seconds. Remember, you can do these seated as well. I'm going to stand just because I think you can see me better. We got 10 seconds. We're going to do that thoracic extension up and over. I'm going to keep my band, but you don't need to. All right, so starting at shoulder height, going up and then back behind as far as I'm able to with my range of motion, and then back up and back up at chest level. So that's the movement. If you are using an exercise band, as you come up and over, you're going to feel this. There's a little bit of intensity there. But even without that, you're going to get that range of motion through your shoulders. So we're building that flexibility. If you are doing this one seated, if you're able to move away from the edge of the back or from the back of your chair, that might give you some room, or vice versa. You might want to back all the way up to it so you can bring your hands behind the back of the chair. All right, that is it. We're going to move on to that tabletop knee lift. Remember, I showed you different options here. I'm going to attempt to hold this for the whole 50 seconds. Remember, in order to do that, I'm really having to use the muscles in my torso, my abdomen. Those ab muscles have to pull up and in to keep those knees lifted. And this isn't all over a full body thing. I can feel this in my thighs, my arms, my chest. This is tough. If you need to take a break, bring those knees down, take a little break and come back in whenever you're ready.
10 seconds.
You've got 10 more seconds, and then we can transition to cardio again. Whew, that was tough. I'm going to get ready to jog again. Here we go. Choosing your cardio, whatever that is. Again, I'm going to stick with jogging, but you are feel free to do whatever you want. You can come back to those punches. You can hear my squeaky floor. There, that spot's better. Halfway there. Almost done with this cardio, and then we get to be on the ground or in the chair for those next exercises. I'm going to come onto the ground this round. My bottom leg is bent. My top leg is extended. And let's go. So bend, kick, up. Bend, kick out, bend, kick up. So that's this. Try not to rock your body forward and back. To keep yourself steady is, again, you're going to hear this over and over again, going to take that core strength. That's your stabilizer. That's what helps you keep balance. If you need to slow down the movement to keep that control, go ahead. We're still going to get cardio because we're doing those little bursts of cardio in between. So go ahead and slow down these movements so that you can stay steady. Little 10 seconds. We're going to stay on this side and we'll do that leg tap to the front. So here we go. We'll extend that leg out, keep it straight and tap. Come back, front tap. That's the movement. Again, trying to keep this hip right over this hip. So when I say rocking, I mean like this, like you turn your whole body as you come. We don't want to do that. We want that whole movement to come from this hip. And that means we have to stay steady through here. You can use your hand in front of you to help with that steadiness, or you can bring your hand to your hip. That's going to take a little bit more control.
10 seconds.
We got 10 more seconds. And I am feeling this right there on that gluteus medius. Woo. Got a little tap. All right, let's flip over to the other side. We're going to do those same two exercises on this side.
Let's go.
Here we go. Kick out, kick up, out, and up. See if you can lead with the heel. So flex the foot. That's bringing your toes towards your knee. And send all that energy that your leg is producing and send it out through the heel. If you can't kick straight up, don't worry about it. Go to where your range of motion allows you. So if that's more at a 45, then that's fine. Kick where your range of motion lets you go.
10 seconds.
10 more seconds with this kick up and kick out. And then we'll do that tap on this side. All right, little bit of rest. And we'll move to that tap. Here we go.
Let's go.
Top leg is extended. Tap. And then come back. Forward, tap, come back. Once we finish this up, we're going to do another little round of cardio. And then we have 3 more exercises. And then we're done with this round. We get a little rest and then we do it all again. You're doing great. One of the things I love about these HIIT workouts is since we are moving from exercise to exercise, it seems like it just goes a lot faster. I don't get bored.
10 seconds.
10 more seconds with these taps. All right, 10 seconds to transition to doing our cardio. And you know what, this time, just to change it up, I'm going to do punches seated.
Let's go.
Because I know if I punch this out, like I really mean it, that I'm going to keep my heart rate nice and high. In fact, it's probably going to come up a little bit from where it was lying on the ground. So we don't have to jump around to get our heart rate up. There's lots of different things we can do to get our heart working. We're halfway through. Yep, I can see that heart rate come up.
Seconds.
10 more seconds. All right, go ahead and get ready for that locust T-pull. I'm going to come down and do it on the ground this round. So I'm starting with my arms out in a T shape and then pulling the elbows back towards my hips, drawing the shoulder blades together, and then lowering my chest as I come back down, as I extend back out. So that's the movement. Your hips and pelvis are going to stay on the ground. See if you can draw your belly button back towards your spine. So even as you're doing this, you're still working those core muscles. That's going to protect your back.
Seconds.
10 more seconds. Go ahead and rest here and get ready to do those running hills. I'm going to do them from downward facing dog. Here we go. Remember, you have options. I showed you some of those options at the beginning. So if what I'm modeling isn't the best option for you today, don't worry about it. Do what works best for you and allows you to maintain and improve your functionality as best as possible.
Seconds.
10 more seconds, and then we'll do our last exercise of this round. Excellent. I'm going to flip right on over and get ready for those leg lifts. Try to keep your low back on the ground if you're doing these on the ground. And like I said, lower your legs. The farthest I want you to go is 45 degrees and then come back up. If you can't get all the way to 45, that's fine. Go as far as you can and still maintain pressing that low back into the ground. We don't want to arch up the back as we do this because we could get our back sore that way. We don't want that. We want to do these exercises to strengthen our back, not to injure our back.
10 seconds.
10 more seconds, and then we get that 60-second break. And then we're going to repeat everything we just did. Here's 60 seconds. If you want to stretch a little bit, I like to give myself a little low back massage by rolling side to side. You do what you need to do. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, that puts you in a lot of control. You can hit the pause button if you need a longer break. You could rewind and do that all over again. So you could do 3 sets. You could forward and go straight to the stretching out if you only wanted to do that 1 set today. Your options are pretty much endless. So do what works best for you. All right. We're going to start again in about 20 seconds and we come right back to that cardio. I think this time, just to mix it up, I'm going to march it out. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm going to march it out and I'm going to bring my arms into this and get them moving. We move our arms and our legs, then we just help our heart work a little bit harder. So again, you can do whatever cardio works best for you. You can even change it up. You don't have to do the same thing every round. We're halfway through this. I can tell my heart rate dropped during that 60-second break. Maybe I'll jog it out to get it back up a little faster. There we go. I'm still gonna pop my arms. 10 more seconds. All right, ready for our next exercise. Remember, that's these flipping pulses. I am going to go use my band again. I think I'll be fine. And remember, you can do this standing or seated. I'm going to stay standing just because, here we go. I think you can see me better, but you could very easily do this seated in a chair. You don't really have to change much of anything. Halfway there. You know, and I didn't demonstrate it today, but those sideline kickouts and taps, if you have anything like ankle weights and you wanted to increase the intensity, that would be a great way to increase the intensity on those. All right, we have 10 seconds and then we're going to go to those thoracic extensions where we go up and over. Again, I'm going to use the band, but you could do this without one. Let's go up and then behind and then up and over. And this may feel different this round than it did the last round. Now that we're warmer and we've been using our body for about the last 30 minutes, you may find that your range of motion has opened up a little. Maybe not. I know mine feels just a little more open than it did when we started.
Ten seconds.
10 more seconds. All right, we have 10 seconds. We're going to move on to that tabletop knee lift. Now, last time I did it from a tabletop and kept my knees lifted. I just want to show you that you can do a really challenging option seated. So you can repeat what you did last time if you joined me on the floor. You could also do this option. You see, I don't know if you can see it. And we have started, by the way. I'm kind of leaning back a little bit to let myself engage those core muscles and lift my knees. This will be more challenging if I were to straighten my legs. I'm going to keep them bent. And if lifting them all the way up is more intensity than you need today, remember you can do this as a heel lift. Bring your toes down, lift the heels up. And you're still holding that belly to spine and engaging that core. So we're still getting that strength building. All right, 10 seconds. We're going to move on to our cardio again. I'm going to jog again. Feel free to do what works best for you. Let's go. All right, we're halfway through this cardio section. We have a few more exercises before we come back to cardio.
10 seconds.
You're doing great. Oh, I stopped a little soon. If you're on the ground today, go ahead and lie on your side, bend that bottom knee. I'm going to stay seated this time just to show that option. Let's go. Kicking out and either kicking up, or if you're like me on a chair, you're kind of kicking out to the side. Out or front and out. Remember, it looks very similar if you're on the ground. I'm going to scooch over because that's just giving me a little more range of motion. And I'm even going to use my chair leg here to help balance myself. So again, sometimes you just have to try this to see how it feels in your body. If having your leg up and doing the kick up here just doesn't feel right, remember you have that option to do a slide forward and a slide out. So again, the movement is the same. You just have a little more support from the floor. I'm going to stay seated for this next one because again, I just want to show everyone that you can do these exercises in different ways. So my leg's going to be out and then come forward and tap. Out, tap. If you're lying on your side, your leg's going to be right above the earth and then tapping in front of you. So either way, we're bringing that in front and tapping. And again, if having your foot off the ground when you're seated just doesn't feel right, you can keep it and sort of trace an arc with your toe. So you're still getting that range of motion through the hip, but maybe not lifting the foot up. I kind of have to lift my foot up because otherwise I'll get snagged on my mat here.
10 seconds.
10 more seconds. And then we're going to take it to the other side for those two exercises. And then we get another shot at that cardio. All right, 10 seconds. I'm going to scooch right over and get ready to do that workout on this side. Here we go.
Let's go.
So starting with that kick out. So kick front. I think that's what I did on the other side. Kick front, kick out. That's it. We're halfway through this exercise.
Seconds.
10 more seconds before we get that little break to transition. We're going to stay on this side and transition to that side lying leg tap to the front. I'm going to stay seated so that everyone can see that option or one version of that option, because even from the chair, there's different ways to do this. And I'll tell you, just because I'm in the chair doesn't mean this is easy. I'm still feeling that burn right there. So it's still really isolating that muscle group that helps support our hip joint in its movement.
10 seconds.
Excellent. We're all done with that exercise. We're going to move on to cardio one more time, and then we have 3 more exercises. Let's go. I'm going to stick with that jogging, but I'm going to move out of the squeaky spot. There we go. Gotta love old houses. It's kind of musical as we're walking around. 10 more seconds. And then we just have 3 more exercises, and then we do a little cool down stretch together, and then we are all done for today. All right, that is our opportunity. We're going to move on to those locust T pull downs. You can do that lying on your belly. I'm going to demonstrate seated, trying not to hit the wall. So arms are out, and then bending the elbows, arching the back, and then extending back out nice and tall. So again, the movement is very similar whether I'm seated or whether I'm lying on my belly. We're getting a nice little squeeze in those muscles between the shoulder blades as those shoulder blades move towards each other and down the back when we pull those elbows down to the waist.
10 seconds.
10 more seconds.
Rest.
Great job, everyone. Next, if you're on the mat, you can do that downward facing dog, running of the heels, or from tabletop, and you can stretch one out and then the other. I'm going to do it from here, stretching one foot out and then the other. And I'm really trying to pull those toes back towards my knee, flexing the foot. That's what's getting that stretch in the back of the legs. And engaging that calf a little bit. And that's the same thing that we would do if we were in that inverted V or tabletop position and stretching the legs one and then the other.
Seconds.
10 more seconds, and then we have our last exercise. Great job. This is that leg lift. Again, you can do that lying on your back. Make sure you keep that connection between your low back and the mat. We're going to extend out our legs and then give them a lift. Lower them down and then give them a lift. I'm going to move out a little bit to the edge of my seat. And I find this really challenging from the chair, so I'm actually going to bend my knees so that I can do this without making my low back sore. And that's an option that you can use on your back as well. If you bend your knees, do you notice that that movement is a little less intense? Does it allow you to keep that low back on the floor? So that is a nice adaptation or variation, whether you're seated and doing this leg lift or whether you're lying down. Holding that belly to spine to crunch those legs in towards the chest. That's it, my friends. All right. We are all done with the exercise. If you need to get a drink of water, take a little break before you cool down. Go ahead. Please don't leave before the cool down. Cooling down and stretching is a super important part of our workout. It's not all about moving as fast as we can or through every, and like we really want to make sure that we also give ourselves a chance to cool down and rest. Recovery is a very important part of a workout plan or an exercise plan, and it's one that often gets overlooked, but this is what keeps us from getting injured. So please don't neglect it. If you need longer before that cool down, again, you're in control, hit pause, come in when you're ready. I'm going to just go ahead and hop right into it so that we don't run too long. We did some work with our legs today, so I want to make sure we get a nice stretch there. I'm going to do that using some yoga blocks. If you have a step that you could use, that would be great. I'm also going to use this chair to help balance so I don't fall. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my feet up onto the block and then drop my heels down a little lower than the block. So you can use yoga blocks like me, or a step if you have one nearby, or even some thick books or something like that. If you don't have anything that you can use like a step to drop your heels, then you could, take a strap along the bottom of your foot and pull your toes a little closer to you and extend through your heel. And you could do that sitting in a chair, sitting on the ground. You can do that lying on your back and have your leg up towards the air. Main thing we want to do is just get that extension through the heel and bring the toes towards the knees, one way or the other. This way I'm using my body weight a little, but there's other ways to do that too. Let's take a few more breaths here. And then let's come out of this. We'll move on to another little stretch. I'm going to come back onto my mat and come into a lunge. So this time I have my left foot in front, my left knee is right on top of my left ankle, and I'm sort of sending my hips forward and lifting through my chest. That is giving me a pretty intense stretch through my hip flexor on the right side and the quadricep, the front of my thigh on the right side. You can even add to that if I want more intensity. I can do a little side bend to the left. And then come back up. We can do a little twist here. And then from there, let's start to straighten this front leg. Maybe wiggle that heel forward. And then we can fold over that leg. Now don't worry about getting this leg perfectly straight. If you have a bend in the knee, that's fine. In fact, I don't want you to lock out the knee. So at least put a little bend into it. But maybe just not have it bent as much as it was when you were in that lunge position. If you were like me with some tight hamstrings, this can feel pretty intense. So go to where you can still breathe. You don't have to feel the most intense stretch you've ever felt. You can back off to like 80%. Your body is still going to get a good stretch. And you can see I just grabbed one of those yoga blocks. Just having my hands up a little higher made that a little bit more accessible. So feel free to use whatever you have around the house to help you access these exercises and these stretches. Let's do one more breath here and we'll do that whole set on the other side. So I'm going to switch out. Bring my right foot forward and I'll start with that lunge. Like I said, just sort of bringing that hip forward so I can get a nice stretch through that hip flexor and through that quadricep. You can add a little side bend if you want more intensity. Back through center, let's add a twist. And then release, let's stretch out that front leg and we can fold over it. Stretching out the back of this leg. Just realized we've moved all the way up to 4 o'clock. So I am not going to keep us much longer. I don't want to take this too long. Let's go ahead and come up to our feet. Take the feet wide. Fold down. Knees can be soft. Let's stretch to one side. And then walk over to the other. And then come back up. Bring the feet together. Maybe work through those wrists a little bit. And then the other direction. If you feel like you need more of a stretch, you can spend some more time cooling down and stretching. I'm going to call it since we're past 4 o'clock. If you have any questions, any concerns, again, my number and my email are in the description. Please reach out to me or leave a comment on the YouTube channel. I do occasionally check that just to see if anyone has any feedback for me, but I'd love your feedback. And I hope to see you again soon. We have lots of fun stuff coming up this week. So even though we're doing this via Zoom and YouTube, I'd love for you to join us live for some of our other activities. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.